What's up, ladies and gents? This is KSigKid coming at you with another Destiny video. Earlier this week, I wanted to start some Rise of Iron talk. and I had an idea for a video, and then Game Informer unleashed a tidal wave of information, and that kind of grabbed me and made me decide, you know what, I've got to go and look into all of this information and start talking about the new and awesome things that are already confirmed in the game. But I still had this particular idea for a video, and since it's Saturday, and we've kind of ridden the wave of some of the crazy and awesome information coming out, I want to go into a little bit of a theory that I had as far as what we might be doing in the Rise of Iron, specifically about SIVA and specifically about Banshee. So if you enjoyed this video, go ahead and smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. So basically, whenever we were doing the live reveal stream that Deej ended up going on, after he took his sparrow off the cliff and died, our perspective ended up changing to another player, and they were using this crazy Suros auto rifle. And I talked about it a little bit. I talked about the Suros. It was black, and it had these crazy sights that were going on, sights that we hadn't seen in the game at all. And that was about all I thought about it at that moment. I didn't really give any other thought as to thinking, you know what, we're just getting another skin change. You know how exotics ended up changing from year 1 to year 2. I figured that our weapons were going to get another skin change, and that was pretty much going to be it. I didn't think about it that much more other than just on the surface. And then I ended up seeing and taking a look at this Omolon scout rifle image. This Omolon scout rifle image that looks like it's a scout rifle that is infused with SIVA. And SIVA is going to be pretty much our nemesis in the Rise of Iron. SIVA is this technological plague that the Iron Lord sealed away in the Fallen are now going in and they're digging out, and the Fallen are going to start having SIVA infused in them. That's our Fallen Devil Splicers. So the Fallen are going to harness the power of SIVA. But are we going to harness the power of SIVA too? Because that Omolon scout rifle sure looks like we've got SIVA infused in our weapons. And that sounds really fun, and that sounds really interesting. But whenever you take a look at the weapon, it's an Omolon scout rifle. It's an Omolon scout rifle that looks exactly like the Omolon scout rifles that we get from Banshee. The Tuanella, the Cocytus, that's exactly what this looks like. Now, of course, it also looks like the Tlaloc, but we're just going to ignore that for right now, because the Tlaloc is an exotic weapon, and we don't exactly get that from Banshee, but we kind of do. Because in order to get the Tlaloc and the Ace of Spades and the Fabian strategy, we have to go through an entire quest with Banshee and get his rank up there. So Banshee's giving out these weapons, much like the Suros that we see in the video. Banshee gives out these weapons that look different from every other weapon in the game. The only way that you can get these weapons is through Banshee, and you get them from ranking up Banshee. So here we are back to Banshee, and every other week or so whenever I do a Banshee video, I stress, please go to Banshee, level him up. You will get weapons from Banshee that you cannot get anywhere else in the game. Some of the best weapons in the game come from Banshee. So what I'm thinking is, in the Rise of Iron, are we going to see Banshee take a more prominent role? Is Banshee going to take SIVA technology that maybe we find out in the Cosmodrome or the Plaguelands and start infusing it into weapons that we can then go and get from him? That to me sounds like a possibility. Again, this is all theory, this is all my own personal speculation. There is no confirmation at all, as far as my knowledge, at this exact point, that Banshee's going to be doing this. But a lot of people like to look into what they can do to prepare for the next DLC. And my number one thing that I'd like to say is please do your Banshee Gunsmith bounties each week and rank up Banshee as high as you possibly can. Now with Banshee ranking him up, it's not as easy as some of the other things. You know, whenever we ended up getting the faction-specific class items where you had to rank your faction up to level 25, you can go into the Cosmodrome, you can go to any patrol, and you can just constantly grind and rank up your faction. You can't do that with Banshee. You get a set number of weapons every week, and those are your maximum amount of reputation points you can get towards leveling up Banshee. You only have a set number each week, and with the Rise of Iron coming on the 20th, there's not a whole lot of time to do some ranking up with Banshee. If you don't have him already to level 5, I would strongly suggest getting him up to level 5. Whether you do the Imprecation / First Curse quest or not, I would get Banshee at least to level 5, and I would try to rank him up even higher. Because what happens if, whenever we're going through, and we find this SIVA technology, and we possibly take it to Banshee, if we need to have Banshee a certain level before we can get these SIVA guns from Banshee. Because what if Banshee's stock ends up splitting, and we end up being able to pick from normal weapons and SIVA infused weapons each week on Arms Day? I strongly feel like Banshee's going to play a part in getting some extra SIVA weapons in the game, because these weapons don't look like raid weapons. If you take a look at the raid weapon history, the Fatebringer, the Black Hammer, the Quillam's Terminus, these weapons all look different from other weapons that were in the game at the time. So I don't believe that just infusing SIVA into an Omlon Scout Rifle with Omlon right there is going to be our raid weapon at the end of the day. I believe that the weapons that we get from the Wrath of the Machine raid are going to look completely different, just like how the King's Fall and Vault of Glass and Crota's End weapons look completely different from the other weapons that are in the game. So being that this has SIVA in them, and I don't think that they're going to be a part of the raid, where else are we going to get these weapons aside from Banshee? Because the other weapons that are going to drop in the game are going to have other skins. We already know that these aren't going to be the Iron Banner weapons, because we talked about what the Iron Banner weapons are going to look like in a video the other day. So scratch off the raid, scratch off the Iron Banner. They don't look like Trials weapons at all. They don't even come close to looking like Trials weapons. Trials weapons have that Egyptian feel, this doesn't. So scratch off Trials, scratch off Iron Banner, scratch off the raid. And I don't think these are going to be standard vendor weapons. Those are probably going to look clean and not have SIVA in them. So aside from Banshee, where else would you get these in the game? I really feel like these are going to come from Banshee. I strongly feel like they're going to come from Banshee, and the only way that you can get better stuff from Banshee is having him ranked up. The thing I don't know and would have no idea as far as predicting is how high you might need to have Banshee leveled in order to get this stuff. But it never hurts to get higher. It does not hurt to rank up Banshee as high as you possibly can. So if you're looking for something to prepare for the Rise of Iron, start leveling up your Banshee. Go to the gunsmith, do any PvE type bounties each week that he has available. For the Crucible ones, you could give or take, it really depends on your mood. If the Crucible rocket launcher is there, please avoid that. That will be absolutely awful with the heavy ammo the way that it is now in the game, and that rocket launcher being as bad as it is. But you should easily be able to get that Banshee ranked up pretty well with just the PvE style of weapons, and I strongly recommend you do. We have no idea what these SIVA weapons will do, but what we do know is that Banshee weapons right now in the game are some of the best legendaries that you can possibly get. So why would we take a step back whenever we get it infused with SIVA? They might be pretty awesome, and quite frankly, the Banshee weapons look really cool, and who doesn't want to have their weapons infused with SIVA, because SIVA is supposed to be really powerful, and it transforms the Fallen into those Devil Splicers. So I'm all for that. I am all for that. So that's our little PSA, our public service announcement. Please rank up Banshee, and I strongly think that SIVA and Banshee are going to have a little bit of a marriage in the Rise of Iron. Anyway, guys and gals, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, smack that like button and subscribe to the channel. Check out these awesome videos. Good luck with your raids, your drops, your Banshee, and I'll see you around in Destiny. Banshee and SIVA, sitting in the tree. KSigKid.